Well, we've got some light outside. No sign of the sun yet. That's G in there playing with the pots and pans. And up there's where we should see the sun peek through at some point. It's up above us, looking like a pretty clear day so far. The moon was incredible last night. And we got a little bit brighter, and I think that's the best we're going to do today. I got to go in and get packed. Somebody else came during the night, and we will be heading off in that direction.
Well, good morning. Nancy and I are here continuing north from Damascus on the AT.
And it's cold.
Yeah, very cold today.
Have a blessed day. Hiking northbound uphill and looking off to the left, south-southwest. You see that haze? We're pretty sure that's the smoke from the fire that is southwest of here. But what's interesting is coming up this way, looking out to the northwest, it's coming around the curve up here around this mountain, and looks like this is what we're going to see for a little while. No smoke. And it does smell cleaner. Beautiful day, and guess what? It is an Appalachian Trail day. Not a cloud in the sky. It was cold last night, but we did all right. Carrying all this extra weight to stay warm. Don't like it right now, but I sure liked it last night. Continuing to head up north, and this is not the partial view we're expecting to find, but it's a pretty nice view. See the mountains off in the distance, probably southwest to west, since the smoke is out there. And this little part right here is a little bit more rocky than most of it. It's only about 10 or 20 feet, but for the most part it's not like this. Other than being uphill steady, it's not too difficult of a trail. So just on the other side of that tree is a switchback. We came up from the trail on the right, and going up the trail on the left side of the tree. And this is putting us on the north side of this mountain. Cooler with a pretty significant wind. Looking up there, I guess we're going to be looking at that mountain over there while we climb this mountain over here with some breeze for a while. So we were warming up, and G had to take off his extra layers. So he probably needs to get going so he doesn't get too cold. I'm sure going up this hill will warm us up real quick. Headed up one of these grueling, steady uphills. So that's the kind of a climb that'll grow new vessels around your heart. His body tends to grow vessels to help with the blood flow when he does really strenuous things. Which is how he can continue to function as highly as he does when his major arteries are severely blocked. Looking off to the left of the trail, that's the mountain that was a lot higher than we were when we started this uphill. Pretty amazing. Well, we've just hit the high point, 2923, and trail maintainers were kind enough to leave this log right across the trail, forced me to step over it and of course sit on it for a moment. We started at 2505. We're now at 2920. Most of that 400 feet has been in the last half mile of just a straight forward uphill. It's that grueling forward, up, up, up. We made better time on this one than we have any previously, so we're definitely getting stronger. We're looking forward to this open view that we're supposed to have up here shortly. And now we're coming through a place called the Cuckoo. I'm not sure why, but it sure is beautiful out here today. Definitely chilly, but beautiful. Here we are at 2,920 feet in north of Damascus, Virginia. From here on out, it should be pretty much level or downhill for the rest of our day anyway. It is fun when you get to see these open areas. Time for lunch. And this is another one of those downhill walks on the ledge. And as you can see, it goes pretty sharply down there. And then it's pretty sharply uphill. And here's the sign that we have reached the Iron Mountain Trail. Take you to Sandy Flats, and it'll take you a pretty long way to a straight branch shelter or to a cherry tree shelter. And there's G coming up from the south, and we're continuing to head northbound where we've got some more downhill until we get to the place where we're going to finish for the evening. And we have had a couple of uphills that'll add to our total downhill. Appalachian Trail left and right, Feather Branch Trail 2 miles to our left. Sorry, Feathercamp Branch. Well, we're continuing downhill northbound. The trail has really been pretty much the same, but I don't get tired of it. Still beautiful. I think we probably got about a mile to go and we'll be done for the day. As G continues downhill. Look at that, across the way with the sun shining on it, and it's still just a perfectly blue sky. Been a beautiful day to be on the Appalachian Trail. And G just finished crossing the dry creek bed up here, shown as an unreliable water source, which, as stated earlier, the unreliable sources are definitely dry. So in this particular section, there really hasn't been any water. But it is fairly short, only about 5.5 miles. So for the normal person, as long as you fill up before you leave Damascus, then you should be able to make it. And unless you're wanting to camp, of course, then you'd need to take enough with you to camp up where we camped last night. But otherwise, I mean, you're not going to need water until you get to the next source. So we came from up there, and we've got about 400 feet left down and about a mile to go. So we've been learning while we've been hiking during this season the benefits and the drawbacks of hiking during this time. And we'll do the drawbacks first. To begin with, the leaves. They are totally covering the trail. They cover the rocks and the roots, and if you step on them, it's going to be slippery. And even if they're on dirt, just on top of themselves, they could also be slippery. Because negative is this is, dry season, so it's very dry. Probably pretty much every year. This year just happens to be a severe drought, apparently, just in the whole Appalachian region of the South. Benefits are, of course, it's cool. The leaves are gone, so we're not closed in and can see through the trees to see all the mountains off on whichever side happens to be open. Today has been tough simply because it's been ledge. Pretty much the up and the down has been this ledge walking, and I'm not moving because it's just too dangerous to walk and try to film anything. There's that sun again. Getting ready to go down. It goes down so early when you're in the mountains. Well, we are real close now, and look at this, a running stream. I don't need any water, but it's good to know it's here. And In the rainy season, this is probably all the way up to the bridge. So this is a really old sign. Well, here it is, date, May 23rd, 2013, when this trail bridge was washed out. So they rerouted to the Beech Grove and Virginia Creeper Trail. The yellow is the detour, and then the blue would be the Appalachian Trail, and then you see where it reconnects. So what lies ahead is a trail that's wider and made for bicycles from the Rails to Trail program. That'll be a little bit different than what we've done here the last day or two. Here we are at Highway 58. It's the same road we crossed to begin this section from the other side and then went up those 22 steep steps. Listening. Don't hear any vehicles. And we have to go down there to walk down the hill in order to get down there. And there's the little privy I told you about. Figure out rest for the night. All right, as promised. Sorry. All right, as promised. Please don't judge me. I can't be out in the cold if I'm not comfortable. Well, not comfortable, but I mean safely bundled because of this extreme cold naturedness that I have to deal with. So I've got to really get on with this because I'm about to die in all these clothes. And below 20 degrees with a wind. So the wind chill might be below 10 degrees. And this is what I worked out that kept me warm hiking in the extreme, extreme cold. I'll show you what happens at nighttime later. But first of all, I'm going to get rid of all this because my head is going to start sweating. You'll see pictures of the videos that are coming up. I had this from years ago. It's fleece lined, and this actually kept my ears warm, but you know, it's heavy and bulky and hard to pack. So for this season, that's gone. And this was a military cap, cost $6 or something like that at the military outlet. Weighs next to nothing. And I actually put it on over the summer hat. I just use a summer hat because even when it warms up, I need some wind to get through there so I don't end up with a sweating head. So that on top of the hat, and then my ears and my nose are cold in 55-degree weather. They hurt when it's below 50. My nose starts aching and burning, and my ears just ache and burn just massively. I mean, I don't know what the deal is with circulation in my body, but anyway, moving on. So basically this is, you wear what you need to, take some off, put some on, whatever. But let's get rid of this. And we had found these, I think this is Outdoor Research, kind of a balaclava thing. The great thing about it is I'm not real cute once this gets pulled off, but if I don't need it there, I can just pull that off. If I still need a little hat, I can throw this back on. And I actually also have just a polyester, like Under Armour headband to cover the ears. Hate it, it's a real pain. Or I can, pull this up if I need to. But eventually, before too long, usually when I'm hiking, this comes off. If it gets above 30, then a lot of this stuff starts coming off. So this is going to come off. This is going to come off, and then just the hat with the breathing. And if I have to put a little headband or this back over the ears, then I can do that if they start aching from the cold. So that pretty well takes care of the head. And then what I've learned to do is about 30 to 45 minutes before I get to camp, I kind of check, and if I've got any wetness on my head at all, then I'll take off the hat and just let the breeze dry it so I'm dry by the time I get to camp. And that usually works out pretty well. So then lines of defense. Now I need to get a new fleece jacket. This one I need a little bit larger one, so I'm still trying to find what I can get for, I wear fleece a lot. I really wear the fleece a lot, in some ways more than the puffy. Has to do with skin and sensitive skin, and it's just a real pain living in this body. But anyway, so this I hike in sometimes. I would tend to hike in this, and then at Goodwill, $3, lamb's wool, turtleneck, Mostly I used this at night when it was real cold. I probably hiked in it, well, if it was below 20, getting close to 20, but you know, this can also be pulled up. And this sweater is actually very, very light, and it's very, very warm. So mostly I just wear it at night, but I have hiked in it. And then, I mean, every 8 degrees for me makes a huge difference. It's embarrassing, but it's true. Anyway, so mostly this is at night, but I have hiked in it when it was really, really cold. And I would take this off probably because it's warmer than this, but it doesn't keep the wind out very well, and this does. So this is another, this was actually Mountain Harbor that I got at Goodwill for $6 before we started hiking, or when winter was coming on. So anyway, you can find things if you do a lot of looking around, but some things you just have to spend the money on, and you know, deciding which those are, then you just have to do that. But so this would come off first, as far as that goes. This would come off, and then this is the Patagonia. It's that like waffle lake or whatever you call this, where it's got area between it to breathe. For me, this is really not that warm unless it's over another shirt, and it's definitely, which other people have commented, this type of material. It doesn't block the wind at all, but it is a good, like if I started out in the morning and it was going to stay, say in the 30s, then I would probably start out with the one shirt and this. And I would probably be able to leave that on all day. If it was much colder in the morning, I might throw the fleece on and then take it off in about an hour or 30 minutes, depending on how much wind there was and how much, you know, how much the temperature went down, how much my body heat went up, which apparently I don't have any. So anyway, so this would come off. And then as far as which base layer shirt would I wear in the wintertime, so this is one that, again, I found a lot of these things at places for, this is a bicycle shirt, I think, and it turned out to be my #1 winter shirt. It's got a little bit of a soft under feeling. It's, I forget the brand, but you can't find them anymore because I looked. I tried to find another one, and I can't find the shirt that's kind of like this with the soft under here without spending $100. So anyway, I did find another one that, this one is not quite as warm, which is what I wanted. My second shirt to be not quite as warm, and it's called Layer 8, 88 polyester, 12 spandex. So this is also soft, doesn't have that real slippery polyester feel that for me makes me just go nuts. So I either wear this, sleep in this, or hike in this, sleep in this, or if it's really, really cold and I'm not damp at all, I'll just sleep in whatever I hiked in that day and hike out on it in it the next day. I'm not opposed to doing that when it comes to, you know, just unless I did sweat and need to, you know, do something. But anyway, so this one, if it's 30, 35, I'm going to hike in this and then sleep in this. And this one, no, it's not as warm, but I can put the wool over it or whatever at night to be warm with this. And with that wool, I have to have something under it to keep the wool from touching me, or I'll be going nuts, scratching the itching. Merino wool even scratches me. So again, it's tough living in this body. So that would be, when I'm getting to hiking this, I'm happy because even if there's a wind chill, you know, it's usually, and I start sweating, it's usually not too bad. But, you know, the 50s for me, the 45 to 60, that's the toughest weather. I hate it. I don't hate it. It's nice, but if there's a wind and it's 45 to 60 degrees and I start sweating, then that's when the real hypothermia challenges come in for someone like me. So I just have to be really careful. And then I will add one more thing I am keeping with me. I'm not sure for sure which one. but one lightweight shirt. So it'll be this one, and this one as far as base layers. One for sleeping, two for hiking, but different. If it starts out at 55 degrees, I'm in this, because that's all I'm going to need within an hour. And this is my summer shirt, actually. I can roll the sleeves up. It works great. And then sometimes I will wear a tank top instead of just a straight bra if it's really, really cold, because it gives more around the middle to help keep the body warm. So that takes care of that. On the upper body at camp, yes, I do throw on the puffy and sleep in it. Usually, or I may have it wrapped around me somewhere, or just over my head, or whatever. But sometimes I've wrapped it around my feet. It just depends on the situation. Unfortunately, I was hoping to get the Revelation Convert. I actually want the Convert quilt, 10 degree, but looks like that's probably not going to be able to work that out this year. So I am still going to have to use my 30 degree, 30 degree patrol bag, the military thing. It's under 2 pounds, but I can't just use it by itself. But I did find Costco just had a down, it's 700 fill blanket, I guess, throw that I picked up, and I've actually tried it some inside the patrol bag, and yeah, that makes me have a heavy sleeping bag. More like a 3-pound sleeping bag instead of the 26 ounces that my Convert would be. But got to do what you got to do to get out there, and that's the way we'll have to start. So that is 1 pound I'll be able to get rid of as soon as we can make that change, which we'll see. But previous to that down, I was actually using a fleece with a hood, zippered up liner, and it did really help me stay warm, but it was even more heavy. So that's gone. And then as far as legs, oh, and also when it's windy, the Mountain Hardwear, which one's this called? Has a name, I can't remember the exact name. This we were able to find on sale. It was great, that's why the color. But I wear it a lot when it's windy. Sometimes, like with this shirt, I can throw this jacket on and stay warm, and then pull this off and stick it in the back, and then if we stop I can throw it back on, and then I don't have to put the fleece on necessarily. Sometimes I do, I need the fleece and then this on top of it if we stop. But I use this a lot. In the rain in the summer, I did once or twice get to the point where I just went ahead and got wet, but I was sorry later. Because the temperature does go down at night, even in the summer, and it's tough living in this body. The chills would start, and so I really do have to, I know it's not possible 100%, but I really do have to work at staying as dry as I can. And that includes not sweating, obviously. But when it's raining, I mean, I have to kind of go to extra lengths more than the normal person. So I do use the rain jacket. And I've slept in this. It's just been great. So that's been a great help. Now, as far as I have the rain pants on, I know everybody says, they end up getting rid of their rain pants. Well, once again, same thing. My feet don't get hot in the summer, but my legs get cold really easily. So unfortunately, I have to keep my legs warm. I can't just let them be cold. They don't bother me like, oh, I'm in pain, this is awful, this feels terrible. But if my legs are cold, the rest of my body ends up cold, and I end up starting with the chills. I mean, it's just the way it works. So the great thing about these is, and you can't see them because the camera's set the way it is, but anyway, we went ahead and spent the money for these, and I'm so glad we did. They're way too big now, but anyway, I'm not gonna, you can't see this, but they're the Mountain Hardwear pants. It was $150 for these pants, and for me, that's like buying a $60,000 car. I'll just never do it. But we did this, and the great thing is, and be hiking, and just stop, unzip, and they're gone. Shoved in the back, and then again, if the wind picks up again, or start getting cold, just pull them out, and I can put them back on. And I also have slept in these in order to get warm, given that I just really don't have, unfortunately, yet the right sleeping bag. But these were godsend for me. And so I know most people like to just get rid of them as soon as they can and not have them, but I will always keep these with me, and I'll always keep that rain jacket. And they weigh very little. Fortunately, this is one item that really doesn't weigh very much. So these are Mountain Hardwear pants. They're 20 years old. Can't tell you what brand they were, but I bought some Ex Officio Bugs Away pants. Love them for the summer. They're lightweight, had some mesh in them, but they're like 3 sizes too big at this point, so I can't even wear them anymore. And I found these, and these work in the winter and in the summer. Now, and I may find some shorter ones, but in the winter, in the snow, in the cold, the thing I like about gaiters, everybody talks about keeping rocks out of your shoes. The thing I like about them is that they keep dirt off your pants. So I can peel these off, and if I don't want to take my pants, change pants at night, if I'm dry enough, man, I'll just sleep in my hiking pants, but I don't want to take dirty, muddy pants into my sleeping bag. So these keep my pants clean. I mean, I could, half the time I didn't even have to, I would, but I didn't really have to wash every 5 or 6 days because my pants were clean because I had them covered. So they help me a lot. They also help keep the lower part of my legs warm, and probably help keep my feet warm, which my boots work great with my feet. I don't get cold feet, believe it or not. At night I do, but in the boots, walking, don't get cold feet too much. Have not had a problem, even when it was 5 degrees below zero wind chill, my feet did not get cold in my Loa Renegade boots. So that's the good thing. Thank goodness for that. But I'll go to a lighter weight gaiter when it warms up some. So that takes care of that. And then also during the day, depending on which quote leggings I'm wearing, if they put compression on my calves, then I don't necessarily wear these, but I do have the compression sleeves for my calves that I wear even into the summer. And thank you, Early Riser, for the idea. It did help, and really made a difference. And then, so what I have on my feet right now is the socks I wear at night. And I'm going to get a new pair of wool because these are about done. I don't remember what brand they were, but they're nice, they're soft, and they're comfortable. But I'm not going to take all these off, but I wear a wool sock on top of a compression sock that comes up to here. And as a former nurse, the support hose. We all wore support hose to do 12-hour shifts running up and down the halls. And leg cramps was a massive issue for me. So I have mentioned in a previous video, I started drinking Gatorade every day. I take Gatorade powder. I'm religious about it. I'm not, all the other little packets, I don't know, but this works. And sometimes if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I have to order it and get it shipped periodically, and just take enough for 4 or 5 days at a time and ship to the next post office or whatever in order to keep it, because it's hard to find a flavor that I like. Again, it's tough living in this body. But anyway, the orange flavored Gatorade powder. I haven't found it in smaller package yet, so just have to make up my own and then switch them out every 4 or 5 days at a post office or hospital or whatever. So prevents the leg cramps. That was really, I'd wake up 6 times in the middle of the night just screaming and hollering and trying to stand up in a tent, and it was not a pretty sight. So it was even tougher in the back of the van when we were in the back of the minivan sometimes. So anyway, I'm sure Dee could tell you how humorous it was, except that I was in such extreme pain. So anyway, that's the nighttime socks. Have finally tried the Ingenges. They've 90% solved my blister and callus problem. Biggest challenge is I just have to develop enough callus over time to be able to hike day after day after day after day without it presenting a problem. I also have some KT tape. I'm going to try the Leuco tape. Sometimes I'm just going to have to tape. There's 2 or 3 places on my feet. No, it's not the boots. I played tennis my whole life, had problems in the exact same place. 14 different brands of tennis shoes, different ways of doing things. There are just 2 or 3 trouble spots on my foot, on both feet, that, and I had a bone removed at one point. So, you know, they're just, I wish I could say, yeah, it's just the boots and all I got to do is change to a different shoe, but unfortunately no. This is a lifetime issue, but these have helped tremendously. So these are the warmer weather Ingenges, and then I've got to pick up another pair of, these are Darn Toughs, but these are my warmer weather socks. And in the summer I can wear this. Well, I actually have a cooler weather Ingenji socks that go with the cooler weather Darn Toughs. And again, even in those boots, which we didn't trade out because we knew we were quitting in July and just didn't want to spend the money yet, my feet just don't get hot and they don't sweat. They do get cold, but they don't get hot and they don't sweat. My legs tend to not get hot. So some of the things the normal person has to do for summer and hotter weather, I really don't have to do. But anyway, that takes care of the feet. And then as far as the legs, that below 20 degree, wind chill below 10, I found, first of all, even in the summer, I wear a very, very lightweight layer because I have to wear knee pads for old injuries and surgeries and things on my knees. So hate it, but when I've tried hiking without them, even around here on this trail with very little elevation, I really paid for it and suffered for 2 or 3 days after that. So have to wear the knee braces, like it or not, and so I need something under that. And so I wear a base layer and then the pants over it. And in the summer, I was not too hot. But in the winter, this is the real challenge. This is a second pair of hiking pants that I can use in the winter and in the summer, and these I can use in the winter and in the summer. Okay, and the tank top that I mentioned that I might wear. Sleeping, fleece. Just found these at Cabela's. They had a sale, $15 a piece. And I can wear these and leave that other base layer on under it, or not. If I'm still cold, even in my sleeping bag, I can throw on those rain pants. And with the socks, no, I don't have any down booties yet, but they may be in my future because it's my feet that get really cold. Anyway, I've been trying these out and freezing my husband out in the house, and then as soon as it gets cold, I'll be going out in the backyard and camping in the tent, trying all this out to make sure it'll work. But anyway, this is strictly sleeping, unless there was a blizzard and everything else I owned was wet, and I had to put this on the hike. So, real glad to have found them, and they're not excessively heavy. I mean, I've had other fleece that is really heavy, but I don't know. I've weighed most of this stuff, but I don't have a gram counter weigher and the ounces on it. I'm not sure how exactly correct they are, but if, you know, just feeling this is not nearly as heavy as some of the fleece I'm on, believe me. And that jacket, in fact, is too heavy. It's part of the reason I want to change it out. I really need to get a lighter weight fleece jacket with a hood, which is so much my go-to. So as far as the leggings, and once I'm hiking, I do need to keep, or micromanaging to prevent sweating, but to stay, be able to stop for 10 minutes and not end up with chills. The real lightweight layer, and then, again, I found these at Cabela's, I think. I'm not sure where I found them, but anyway, I know a lot of women hiking these things, and that's all they hike in, but that's not me. And I like pockets. I use these pockets, and I use these, whatever you call these, cargo pockets. So this would probably be the main thing I'd wear in the winter, unless it gets really, for hiking, unless it gets really, really cold, and then I've got another pair on that are pretty much like these, but they have a little bit of a fleece liner. So I may take one or the other, I don't know. I may take both, because these are actually heavier, to be honest, than those, but they're still not excessively heavy, but as we know, you add it all together, and there you go. So, don't judge me. That's pretty much sums up what I've worked out so far, and I just threw this shirt over here because it's a summer shirt, and I wear the longer underclothing because it just, even in the summer, it just really helps me. And ladies, I am one of those who's figured out the standing up thing and devices, and I found one that works, which if you want to private message me, I'll tell you what it is. But anyway, so sometimes I buy men's clothing because it just makes that simpler. Otherwise, you got to get out the scissors and tear up your clothing. But that was a real godsend. Also, in fact, I've even got one that I figured out how to not get out of the tent. And ladies, when you're 65, sorry, but most women getting up during the night, it's just a fact of life that's a total and complete pain. And I am not getting out of that tent at night, so I had to work something out. So for months I did in the winter, and it was misery. So I'm really glad to have finally found something that I can use and just stay in the tent. And then last but not least, I've probably been through 20 pairs of gloves. And I mentioned at the beginning, I've yet to really solve this challenge. What I'm trying to do is get down to, the base layer, one a little warmer on top, and then the mitten in case it's really, really cold. But I haven't found a mix that when I have that mitten on, and the mitten needs to be, or the final liner needs to be waterproof. So if it's a cold rain, I'm not going to be getting wet hands, which again, no circulation, none, zero. So, nose, ears, hands, and feet, it's just, I don't know, just weird. So, tried the wool military as a liner, didn't work. I've tried 4 different fleece gloves, didn't work. Sealskin gloves, which kind of look similar to this, with a liner under, didn't keep me warm. And I don't mean warm, I mean not getting freezing, numbing fingers. I mean, I can handle a little cold and discomfort. I live in discomfort all the time. I can handle discomfort, but I can't handle when they get so cold that they're getting numb, and then I start getting worried about them. So that's really what this is about. Anyway, I had found these, and this was a great thing. So I would wear a liner glove under this, and then, put the mitten over it, and if that worked, boy, that would be great. But I haven't found the liner glove yet that gives me enough warmth that this on top of that takes care of it. Wish I could, because these are not that heavy. They are superb and real easy to just, pull it off, do what you need to do, and put it back. But, and then I'm going to pick up a waterproof mitten cover shell, and that would take care of it. That's really what I would like to work, but so far, unfortunately, it hasn't. So, but it's still potential if I could find the right liner glove. And then Costco just had a good old sale. Head gloves, $16. I probably would have done better if I'd gone ahead and bought $150 gloves. That maybe are out there that are high tech and not too heavy and could solve my problem, but it's just not the way I tend to do things. But anyway, these are they had warmer and warmest. Well, these are their warmer. And so far the last couple of days have been down in the 30s, and these are working pretty good. And then they had, quote, their warmest, which they call the ski glove, also paid $16 for. And this one on top of that one, you know, may do the trick. And these are waterproof enough. This may do the trick for the really severe cold, but, and I may have to do that. But this and this together are heavier than what I would work out with this. So if I can find the right liner glove and a shell that's, you know, really lightweight, that would be the choice. But if not, I'm gonna have to go this route and just carry that extra, probably about an extra 6 or 7 ounces, which given what I'm having to do here really adds up. So I think that pretty well takes care of it. This is another pair of, it said very lightweight thin slate. Used to wear thin slate and thought it did a great job. But anyway, it's supposed to be like the ski glove warmth, but with hardly any weight. Didn't work. Don't want to fall off the table here, excuse me. Didn't work. So that's where we are on that. Any brands, places to get things that, you know, I just really can't spend a lot of money, unfortunately. If I spend money on anything, it's going to be on the Enlightened Equipment 10-degree convert bag. Just regular. So hopefully that's in my future prior to us leaving. And we are leaving early winter, or well, midwinter, early winter for through hiker season. But don't know exactly what date yet, so I guess that's it. Don't judge me. But I am open to listening to any ideas. They may not work for me. And again, it's tough living in this body. But it's the only one I've got, and so I'm going to make the best of it and get out and hike, and you do the same.